All right, good morning or good afternoon whenever you are watching this. We're going to go over congruent triangles. So in the past two sections, we have talked about triangles, how to classify them, and then the next unit we talked about the triangle sum theorem and the exterior angle theorem and the third angle theorem. Well, now we're going to talk about if triangles are congruent. So this section is called congruent triangles. Okay, so this is supposed to be kind of like an if-then statement right here. So if triangles that are the same size and same shape are congruent, then their corresponding parts, the angles, so what that means is the angles and sides that are in the same position, they are also congruent. So for example, right here, these two triangles, MNO and then TVU, all of these they're the same size, same shape, they're congruent. So that means their corresponding parts are congruent. So the sides that are in the same spot, the angles that are in the same spot, those are also congruent. So this is just an example. It tells you which angles are congruent to each other, which sides are congruent to each other. To identify corresponding parts of congruent triangles, look at the congruent statement. Look at the, I forgot what I put there. You want to look at the congruent statement at the position that those sides are in, that the points are in. The order of the letters. Okay, so you want to look at the order of the letters. This is a big hint right here. So if you're not sure because it's like kind of shaped weird or flipped around or rotated, look at the congruent statement, such as this right here. And that should tell you what is congruent to what. So like in this congruent statement, we know that angle M is congruent to angle T because they're both the first letter of their own congruence triangle. Okay, so even then, like line NO is congruent to line UV because they're in the same position and they're going the same order. Okay, so given this situation right here, we have triangle XYZ is congruent to triangle NPQ. Identify the congruent and corresponding parts. So congruent to angle Z. So congruent to angle Z. Well, we're going to go to the other triangle and we're looking for an angle that has two little marks on it. And that should be angle Q. And if you look over here, angle Z is the third letter, angle Q is the third letter as well. All right, number 2, YZ. So I'm going to use a different, so YZ. So I go from 1 angle covering to 2 angle covering. So it does matter what order you put this statement. It does. Okay, so that's why I stated from Y to Z, I'm going from the angle that has 1 angle covering, like tick mark thing right here, to 2. Okay, so when I jump to my other triangle, I need to go from 1 to 2. So it should be PQ. And if you want to double check, YZ is the last 2 of this statement, and PQ is also the last 2 of that statement. Okay, so I want you to finish 3, 4, 5, and 6. Why is there a double? This is supposed to be a 4. Okay. All right. Triangle EFG is congruent to RST. Find the value of each below. Okay, so we want to find X and Y and then angle F and line ST. So first we're going to start with X. Well, how to be successful with this, we need to figure out, okay, X is here in the E angle E. So if this is kind of flipped around, it's kind of look weird. So if I'm not sure what angle E is congruent to, I can go back up to the congruent statement. E is the first letter of the first triangle, and then R. So angle E is congruent to angle R. And angle R has this little box right here, which tells us that this is 90 degrees. So in order to solve for X, I can do 4X plus 6 equals 90 degrees because angle E is also 90 degrees because it's congruent to angle R. And then we just solve. So we're going to subtract 6. 4x equals 84. Divide by 4. X equals 21. Okay. All right, so now we want to find the value of y. Well, y is in angle T. Okay, so I'm looking for something that is congruent to angle T. Well, angle T is the third letter in the congruent statement, so I'm looking for angle G because it is also the third letter of the congruent statement. So I'm looking for angle G, and angle G is 28 degrees. So because those angles are congruent to each other, I can set 5y minus 2 equal to 28. So we're going to add 2. 5y equals 30. Divide by 5. Y equals 6. Okay. Now we want to find angle F. Okay. So we got to do some thinking here. So angle F is this one right here. Okay. And we know that all the angles in a triangle add up to what? 180 degrees. Well, we determined when solving for 7 that angle E is also 90 degrees. So we have a 90-degree angle. We have a 28-degree angle for angle G. And then we're trying to find angle F. So we're going to add up the two angles we do know. And then subtract it from 180. (62 degrees). Angle F is 62 degrees. All right, now I want to find ST. ST. I'm going to write it red. So ST is this one right here. Okay, and ST is congruent to FG because those are the last two letters of each statement. Okay, so because those are congruent to each other, I can set their values equal to each other. So I can set ST, since ST is congruent to FG, I can set their values equal to each other. So I could do 7 or Z plus 4 equals 3Z minus 8. Bless me. And then solve for Z. Okay, so I'm going to subtract this Z. This looks like 2's. So I'm left with 4 equals 2Z minus 8. And then I'm going to add 8. I'm left with 12 equals 2Z. and then divide by 2. So Z equals 6, but am I done? What does the question want? The question wants ST. So I have to plug it back into ST, which is Z plus 4. So I have to do Z plus 4, which is 6 plus 4. Because the value of Z was 6, so ST is 10 units. All right. Bye, guys.